In this video, we're going to talk about how to use multiple files to program. So let's think about this main.c. This main.c is basically the program to draw a rectangle. It's basically the source code that you saw in the first video of this unit function, unit 5 in function. So if you compile this, you get height 7, width 6, offset 2, then you'll see this video. Okay, so now let's think about the scenario where there's two people to work on this project. Okay, so one people is basically writing like functions. The other people, one person is writing the functions, and the other person is taking care of like writing the main function. Okay, so well, to make things easier for them, you know, each person should work on their separate file. Otherwise, you know, all these things will be messed up when they edit the source code. Okay, so that way, so what would be the good way to split the job? So first, they actually like agree on the interface. Okay, what will be the input of the function and what output of the functions? So those prototype, first agree on the prototype, and then main function will just use that. And the other person will basically define those functions. Okay, so here there's 3 files. First one is a file that contains main function. The other file is containing the definitions, and then one file, header file, that both main function and function definition file refers to. Okay, so for header files containing all these prototypes and stuff will be with the extension H. So I'm gonna create helper.h file. Okay, so this is helper.h file, and those header files, this header file usually contains prototypes and other stuff. So I will put this. Okay. Okay, and then, well, in the main file, you have to include header.h. Helper.h, sorry, helper.h. And then there has to be another file, helper.cpp, helper.c, the file that contains all this function definitions line. Okay, of course you have to include what? Helper.h. Okay, and seems like you're using functions like f put c and scanf, so you got to include also standard.io.h. Okay, that's it. So when you compile, you give main.c, and then what? Now you have to give 2 source code. It works. 7, 3, 1. Okay. Okay. If you want to specify the output, as before, use -o option. So if you do that, you can actually create this rectangle, rect file. Okay. So everything seems to be good. Okay. But if you think about this scenario, so now let's go back to the main.c. What if you include again? You may ask, why do we do that? We're hypothetically thinking about like many files, like in a large project, and it's hard to like think about like including this one header file on other ones, because some header file may include other header files. All this like complicated structure may make you know, the case where like same header files include twice. Okay, so let's simulate that in our toy situation. Will that work? Yeah, that works. That's great. So that's fine. But things get kind of complicated if you have some header file, some more complicated definitions. So we're going to learn struct later. This is a compound. This is a way of defining compound type. Okay. So basically structure X and Y, like let's say point, may contain two integers, and then point is the type in a sense. Okay, we're going to learn more detail about this struct, but anyway, so you can define like this kind of like compound type. And now this is going to be a problem because this struct should be defined only once. But now, as you know, include is basically copying whatever the source code it is. And because you include twice, struct point will be defined twice. So there is like the redefinition of error from the GCC. So we want to keep this two includes because there might be situations when a large number of people working in a large project with the multiple files together. Okay. So what would be the fix? Well, even if the fix is basically, even if you include multiple times, make sure the copy is done by only once. How do you do that? The idea is use if and def and if. So if and def, okay. Here, usually you put like unique, some definition, define. So helper.h is the file name, right? And then put end if. Okay, so here, what is it doing? So first time that is included, helper.h is not defined, and then this will be copied. And then second time, if helper.h is included, because helper.h is already defined, the compiler will just ignore what's inside. So whatever, how many times you the C file include helper.h doesn't matter. The source code is copied actually only once. So that's basically guarding. The way to do this is guarding the header file using this if and def define and if sequence. Okay, so let's check whether this fix works. Okay, so if you do that, it works.